Xirco's Report, Episode 32, What to Do Now. Okay, so other people have commented about this, and I too kind of get to a point of everything is expensive, resource-wise, to level up knowledge, and we're having to save resources for a longer period of time before we're able to start a new knowledge. And it's kind of discouraging because you kind of feel like you're flattening out in the game. So I was thinking about this and watching some videos on YouTube, but none of those helped. But I was talking to a fellow elder about what to do. I had quite a few weeks. I actually had about 7 weeks worth of boost saved up, and I was asking him, alright, should I go for this knowledge, or should I do several smaller ones, etc., etc.? So we talked about what I wanted to accomplish for my hero, for the way I play the game. So I'm going to share with you what I found works while you're still saving up resources. So it doesn't really take that many resources, and you can continue to save. It doesn't really eat into that. As you can see at the top of my screen, I have pretty minimal resources right now, and I show you what I'm up against here. Knowledge. Also, I want to show you what I've done so you can get an idea of how someone else approaches knowledges. Maybe that will spawn an idea on how you should change the direction or strategic moves on how you learn things. So I got my tier 1s all completed. Tier 2s almost. Tier 3s I've pretty much just started. And I did this for the same reason, and other people in the clan have also started doing this, I've noticed. Even though you're studying tier 2, we go ahead and start tier 3 because they're affordable and they don't take much. But then they soon quickly get to 4 and 5 days for medium levels. I don't need to go to tier 4 yet. I don't have any tier 4 troops. But here's an example. See, even the first level of that already takes 3 days. So they get progressively more expensive. Tier 1, level 15 was 165 million, whereas Tier 2, level 13 cost 200 million. So, come on. There you go. So, obviously, I'm waiting for a serious amount of resources, and I'm not buying a bonus pack at this time. Because I was looking at all the bonus packs, and I really should do a video on how to interpret the bonus packs. Because there was one, the most I've found recently is 400 million resources. Okay, so kind of expensive because there's 205 million of that 400 right there. And that's 50. That's 100. That's 150. So there's 350. So potentially I can do 2 to 3 of these knowledge levels for $5. And I just find that really expensive for such a minimal upgrade. Because this is going 22% to 25.5%. Now, if this was going to go from 22 to 122%, well, heck, I'd spend the $5. But that's too negligible of a difference to spend money on that, in my opinion, for my wallet. Alright, so I'm waiting on tier 1 through 5 troops. So now I'm up back to military. Remember in the previous video I said forget military? Well, once you get to the... And I said do tier 1 through 5. But once you get to a point you can no longer afford those and you need to wait a little bit, I went to military. Now these are more specific. But I was talking to a clan elder and... Oh yeah, I need to show you this other one first. So then I went to invaders. I came down here. Wrong. It was not invaders, it was under training. Come down training far enough, you see training speed. That was not it either. Maybe it was... Okay, it was military. It was just further down. Troop defense, level 7 of 10 here. Well, this is going to... Now, that's a big increase right there. 20%. And this is down to 4 weeks, 3 days before I will add a learning boost. And I can probably get that down to 3 weeks something. So, okay, now 20%. Now we're talking. And especially for right at 4 weeks, I don't mind boosting it. 20% is good. And it's troop defense. So I was asking him if I should go ahead and, at that time, it was burning through 7 weeks worth. But since I've changed some, I think when I looked at that 7 weeks, I think I had the wrong hero set on without realizing it. So when I switched hero sets, it dropped it down to 4 weeks, 3 days, and now I can throw a boost on there and probably get that under 4 weeks. So, sorry, just had a glitch. So he said the only reason you might want to do this right now and spend and burn through all those time boosts is if you do a lot of tile farming. I don't. I do when there's a competition. I will farm silver mines, uber mines, and I have a resource tile farming hero set for that. And so then this is going to really benefit 20% additional, so 66% across all my troops. And then my shaman has a troop type defense, so that's giving me more defense. So he said if I'm wanting to do farming, then that's good. He says if not, he says start focusing on these. And I looked at him, and killer offense here is 10 of 10, and level 9 killer defense is level 9 of 10, and I can't get to level 10 until I get to 21st level of the Oracle. That's fine. So then yesterday I upped my speed, my siege offense to 9. That was at 7. I got that to 9. I'm working on level 8 right now for siege defense. And you can see this is going to give me 66% right there. So level 8 gives you 66%. Level 9 gives you 91%. So this is what I'm working on, and let me come up here and show you. Melee, now let's go up here one more. Melee offense costs, look how cheap it is. It's under the million mark, except for the silver. But we all have way too much silver. And that's 3 weeks, so that's really no problem. But you can see my gold count up there is super low, 457 pieces. But it doesn't matter because in about 5 or 6 hours, a new Kingdom versus Kingdom event starts, and my clan will make tons of progress. I'll have plenty of gold, and I will buy another huge coffer. So, if you want to start making headway in this game again, get the huge coffers. Every 41,500 pieces of silver, buy a huge coffer. If you need shields, I mentioned one other time, don't pay 3,000 gold pieces for a shield. Go to the items here and buy the, I think it's called standard coffer or retreat. Let's see, that's offense. I think I've scrolled too far. Retreat large coffer. I've mentioned that in a previous video. So that's good to go. But that's still 3,250 pieces of gold. And when you're like, in my boat, you don't have it. Then you go to the clan store and buy it there. I mean, there's a reason you have these loyalty points. Use them. Oh, hey, why I just scrolled past this. I need to mention this now. Also talking to an elder about this. He made a very good point. He says you should be running these 7-day. There's a resource production at top, but then there's specific great greed items also. And you really should do this. So you have a general resource production that will boost all your resources by 50%. And then you get specific as well. I mean, loyalty points, I suspect that you all have a significant amount of loyalty points. So he says get a 7-day one for food, lumber, iron, stone, and silver. Well, silver's optional. I mean, we all have so many. Some of us have more than 1 billion pieces of silver, so it's optional there. Run them all the time, he said. Never let them stop, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. So here's a relocation for 35,000 loyalty points. Yeah, it's a little expensive in loyalty points wise, but that's how you're going to move around when you can't afford to buy it from the bank with actual gold. Save your gold for huge coffers, unless you just have an exorbitant amount of gold. Still, even if you buy a bonus pack and it gives you 250,000 pieces of gold, still use that judiciously. Don't just burn through it because you think you have a lot. You go through it very quickly. Okay. So, oh yes. So these resource boost. Check this out. You want to gain more resources quicker? Look at these numbers now. Because I'm 50% on everything, I'm making obviously 50% more. And now I have a reason to begin to level up all of my resource buildings to get these higher. Currently, zoom out here, you can see I'm working on leveling them all up. And I'm not going to level 21 until I have everything maxed out here. It's a pretty big jump. Takes many weeks. I think with my boost though, I can see it's 7 weeks, 4 days. I throw a boost on there and I should be able to get that below 7 weeks, but it's still 7 weeks. So a huge coffer is 2 weeks, 2.5 days. So I need essentially 3 huge coffers. Also, the game just did an update, so it gave us some more 3-hour boosts. Now I have 125. So at 180 something, see, when I was messing with this last couple of days, 183-hour boost I think would have burned through a 7-week knowledge. So this is pretty awesome. I'm kind of maxed out on troops right now for that golden ratio, which I mentioned in the previous video. Or I didn't make a video about it. Just a post in the community about it. Anyway, the troop, there's a video on YouTube. You can look up influence golden ratio in Vikings War of Clans. I think that should get it there for you. It's a short 3-minute video, and it talks about the troops. Influence number for the troops should be 10% of the total influence. And for the higher level players, not more than 20%. He said, but you should be around 10% or a little above. And that is, I think, the best ratio for attack, defense, damage. Mind you, his video is good. If you watch any of his other videos, watch them with care, because he promotes bots. And I mean, you can watch them. There's nothing wrong with watching them. And it sounds fun at first, but I don't know. I kind of consider it not cheating, but at the same time, you take all the fun of the advancing, because now nothing essentially costs you. So what if you can get all these resources? And if it doesn't cost you anything, how can you have any appreciation? It's just me. Whatever. Anyway, I've totally got sidetracked. I'm now rambling. I was wanting to tell you. Oh, yes. Here we go. So, start learning some of these. So if you're going to start... Okay, to be more specific. If you're going to be tile farming, then you want to focus on defense. If you're going to be raiding, let's focus on some offense. Defense is still very important, so focus on that too. But these are affordable. They don't take as long. Level 6 to 7 is only 4 days. So 4 days, 15 hours. We'll go over here. We'll go to development, knowledge, upgrade, speed. I'm going to pick my largest one. Oh, 10 minutes. I don't want to burn that one off just to show you. So, but when you do this, even though it's a 10-minute knowledge upgrade, if you start it, the knowledge upgrade will retain that 35% through the whole thing, not just the 10 minutes. This is pretty much true with all the boosts that I've found thus far. Same with building, same with troop type, or troop training, and same with knowledge. So keep that in mind. Also, this goes for yielding, resource yielding. Right here under resources, we'll scroll down, it says resource yielding. Even though this is 1 hour, and when you're out tile farming, before this expires, get a fresh batch onto the tile, and this speed up will carry through to the end of that farming period. So that's another good way to maximize it. Also, in case I think I mentioned, or I wanted to in a previous video, when you are training troops, also run a warrior training and get this, but get that batch to stop at 55 minutes and start a second batch 5 minutes before this boost expires, and you will get 2 for the cost of 1. Oh yeah. This could be made into another video, but I'm kind of distracted today, so you're just gonna get a whole bunch of stuff in one video. Troop training, and we're also talking about defense and tile farming and which military knowledge skills to learn. So I have a lot, well, up here on my shaman skills, Baggy the Big, I have, whenever I tile farm, I use him exclusively for tile farming. Let's go to other shamans. Sibba the Bloody. Now, we're talking Killer defense, 10 of 10. That's 10%. I'll take the 10%. Killer health, killer offense. And down here I have troop defense, 7 of 10. And I have no idea what that percentage is. Anyway, it's probably an additional 3 to 5%. So, now that I have a shaman specifically related to killer, I can use, when I tile farm, I can keep Siba, except I lose 5% yielding. That's not too awful much. It's kind of negligible. Let's see here on the resources, resource yielding. This is a boost of 50%. So subtract the 5. See, okay, it's still 45%. I think it fairly and justly negates Baggy the Big to switch out to Siba for when tile farming. Because now I can go to Rippers. Well, no, I would actually use level 1. So instead of trebuchets, now here's the thing. Trebuchets have the largest capacity of 13 units per troop. Mercenaries have number 2 at 11 units. Slayer, which is my killer, has only 8.7. So it's substantially less. However, I've got my resource tile farming hero set on, which is pretty much all defense. And then I have Siba the Bloody, which is focusing on killers. And now I can use my killers to go out and farm for me as opposed to trebuchets. So it takes less, so I have to use more troops. But I have better protection this way. And let's go back. So I have 50,000 slayers. And down here I have 70,000 rippers. And so now I'm focusing on training more killers, because I have heroes and shamans to back them up, and I'm learning the knowledge, and I've just maxed out the killer, the military. Killer's offense is 10 of 10, and killer defense is 9 of 10. So I've got these, I got everything as strong as possible. Now also, when I do farm, I run these bottom two, troop defense and troop offense. And I pop on 1 hour increased defense, or actually I usually save those for specific reasons. I'll save those for raids. But I will use a 12-hour increased defense for 20%. And there's also an equal one for offense. And I'll run them both, because you get these somewhat often by fighting invaders. So they're spendable. So that's how I approach, and I'm changing my strategy on resource tile farming. Now using killers over trebuchets. Going back here to the shamans, and mind you, each shaman has benefits for something different. So this is Baggy as an overall, that's why they gave it to us first, because it's all about resources. So that's good. And Inga has, I use her for training speed and really nothing else. What I can't figure out is, I have noticed either this is what it is. My percentages for troop training are in between. They're at an odd place. So whether I have Inga activated or not, my troop time changes, or does not change. Once I get my troop training bonuses up a little bit, then Inga may actually make a difference. But right now, how many of our percent bonuses I have, she doesn't affect it, so whatever. Sometimes I use her for attacking, but the weakened ghosts are level 1 of 10, so she's useless for attacking ghosts. But if I'm trying to kill a ghost and I've run out of go-go juice with the other shamans, I might use her. Stieg the Sharp has... Alright, see, this one is geared towards ranged defense. So if you've worked on ranged, like I've worked on killers, then you want to have Stieg activated when you tile farm and just use a whole bunch of ranged troops for tile farming, because then Stieg will give you the bonuses. And I already talked about Siba. So there is a good reason to buy packs and get new shamans. Each shaman is going to take a different troop class. So look at the info on the shaman and see if that benefits you immediately down the road, and you can determine if it's worth the expense of $5. I like how here at level 20 I'm getting rewards of 20,000 stone. Isn't that great? And 6,000 logs. Fantastic. That's so not going to help me at all. Alright, that I'm going to send a message to support to request that they give better ones based on the levels. And if you all could as well, and there's enough people asking for it, they will do that. But I mean, this is really a joke. I mean, really. And also, when you log in each day, and over here on the left, it gives you a little check mark on the calendar, and it says, hey, thanks for playing longer than 7 days. Here's 250 VIP points. Let me show you what the problem is with that. I need 165,000 more VIP points. What is 250 doing? It's kind of a slap in the face. And they need to have that number percentagely proportionate to the level the people are. So if you could send feedback on suggestions to support on both of those, do them in 2 separate ones. The more mail they get, the better. So down here at the bottom right, click menu. Near the top left, click help. And ask a question and question type, and you're going to have suggestions. So make those suggestions. You can also do a screenshot, and if you're not aware, screenshot on a phone, you can hold the down volume button and the power button at the same time, and you can snap a screenshot. Alright, so essentially go to the Oracle, go to military while you're trying to save resources, and learn some of those, bring those specific troop types up. And also watch your golden ratio between your troops and total influence, and start considering using a different troop type than trebuchets for tile farming. Now, one real quick thing is trebuchets. They are weak against killers. So that means everybody's playing with trebuchets on tile farming. Everybody knows it. And so if you look at the reports and you watch how they tile pop, they use mercenaries, which is melee, and they use and what's the other troop type? Melee and horsemen, cavalry. That's typically what they attack with. That's really a stupid choice to attack a farming tile. because it's only here, the cavalry's only 25% effective against a siege. So really, if you're going to tile pop, you should be on killers. Effective against siege, 50%. So now, let's say you start farming with killers. Everything changes, because they're going to send, well, they're not going to send killers, they're going to send melee against you, and that's pretty low. And if they send range, that's still 50%. Okay, but they're going to think you're going to be using trebuchets, especially if you have a palace with a lower number. They're going to go, oh, this is a new player, doesn't know, he's probably using trebuchets for maximum capacity. Change your strategy. If you use mercs to farm with, they'll still probably use cavalry against you. But look, it's 50% effective, so you're going to do a lot of damage to them. No one's going to send trebuchets against you, because they're going to go, I'm not going to send trebuchets against trebuchets. So contemplate that strategy. See how that plays out for you. So now my focus is on killers. And somebody mentioned about having specific troop types depending on which player in the clan. It's not a bad notion. I'm neutral on the topic right now. My personal approach for where I am at the game, I want everything even. So if I'm sending stuff, I'm not sending one exclusive troop type. And because as soon as I look at a battle report and I come back and it has multiples, or just it only had one troop type and I had multiple troop types sent at it, well then the only one that was effective, I didn't lose any of those troops, but all the other troop types I sent had damage. And the theory is vice versa as well. I always try to look at the report. That's why I throw a shield up after the first raid. So I scout, shield, raid, shield, and then I look through the report, find out which troop types I lost a lot of, and I never send those a second time. So there's another thought. So since everyone seems to be sending mercenary and slayers, melee and mercenary and horsemen, melee and cavalry, then you could also tile farm with these. And you see it's weak against the siege. No one's going to send siege troops. And then you have horsemen. And these are weak against killer and melee. Yeah, so that's interesting. Anyway, I'm bringing that up just for some food for thought. There is no perfect scenario. Kind of nice to get a couple different types in there if you want for your troops or for your tile farming. Screw with them just a little bit more, cost them a little bit more. Anyway, so that's about today's digest version. Whatever. Anyway, hope that helped. Ask if you have any questions. Peace out.